Welcome back to Man Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. I'm recording late night, not too unusual I suppose, to be perfectly honest, but I could have honestly recorded earlier. I just couldn't think of anything to talk about, so then I just distracted myself by playing some games and doing some other stuff, and I was like, and it's got to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't actually recorded an episode today, so I guess we kind of got to find a conversational footing. I was going to be like, let's start do the thumbnail art, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about yet. That's going to be kind of difficult. You might be like, how is it progressing? It's getting further. I think, if I recall it correctly, I only have Vivian and Rowan left to colour in, and from there it should be hopefully a lot faster, but we'll see. Good evening everyone, right now in Fawnhallow it's 11:47 PM on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, so conceivable I think it would be done by the end of, maybe not the end of this week, we'll see. Excuse me. You're just speaking at some point, and then you're just randomly like a little bit of saliva or something just goes down the wrong tube. Like, you know, okay, the human body is a marvel in of itself. Like, let's all be real. It's miraculous that, you know, life can even be born in the first place, let alone human life, I suppose, with a level of intelligence which we have compared to others, and you know, the things which human creates are fantastic. But why is the human body designed in such strange ways? Obviously not, it wasn't designed, it was through like some evolutionary purposes, I'm sure, and from like environmental pressure, natural selection, etc., survival of the fittest, etc., etc., etc. But like some of it is sort of like baffling to me, a non-biologist, why evolution, I suppose, has made it be this way. And one of them, certainly something more than all the others, is why is our trachea and our our trachea and our esophagus, why are they, for one, connected both in the same way through the same tube, the same orifice and so like close to each other, that the only like way we have to prevent something from intended for one tubular organ, I don't know why I'm speaking like this, going down the wrong path, is literally just like a flap or something which like goes back and forth between the two. Like the amount of times I'm just like randomly speaking, or I'm just existing, and then it's like a little bit of saliva goes down like my trachea and I just have to go is phenomenal. The incredible rate at which it happens. And then I suppose the inverse is probably like not as bad, and getting some air down your esophagus kind of means like you like burp or something, right? Is that how it works? I don't really know the kinematics of this, to be. No, I don't know if kinematics is really the right word to use on that, to be honest, either. But you know what I mean. Like, why as evolution, not at some point natural selection, the pressures of environmental peak evolution, been like, you know, maybe we shouldn't have these two really important like organ functions right next to each other, you know, one created, you know, just to ingest food, and one for air. Why have we put them right next to each other? Why is survival of the fittest, the pressure have not like favored evolutionary features where they're more separated, or where there's more distinction between them, or where they, you know, there's more of like a proper filter, I suppose. Like, I don't know, why isn't there like a mesh filter which goes on top of our like trachea or something to prevent any like solid bits, or I guess that wouldn't really stop liquids, you know what I mean? Like, why isn't convergent evolution, no, it's not convergent evolution, why isn't evolution done better for us? And the obvious answer is like, there was no environmental pressure necessarily needed to, and it really is quite a first world problem to have, and probably doesn't affect like everyone or something, you know, or at least not equally, is my guess. So it's just sort of me being here being like, why is this happening to me? I don't know. It just like is a very accidental thing, I suppose, where it's like, obviously, like, I don't even know what causes it is the thing, you know. I would love to say it was like a thing where like I'm sitting like in a weird posture or something, and of course the saliva would do something like that. But I'm not, I'm just like chilling, and then it's just like saliva for some reason just decided to go down the wrong tube entirely, and you're just like, why is this my existence? So I thought I'd put that on brace on, because I'm not actually using my hand right now. I might as well do so. It just, I don't know, it just makes no sense to me. It's just, obviously it's not something that necessarily needs to make sense, because, you know, it's not really something which has had much of a conscious decision or design choice behind it. It's just like, how does this come to be, you know? Why? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, like, questionable things from, like, a biologist's perspective about the design, quote, quote, of a human body that makes them, like, really scratch your head. Again, I'm not a biologist, so it's probably not really my place to say, but I'm sure things like the fact that, I'm trying to think of a good one off the top of my head. You know, like, why do we even have an appendix at all anymore is, like, a very sort of strange, questionable one. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure it used to have uses way back when in the day, but now is certainly something which is a bit more redundant per se. It's sort of something which basically serves only. No, hold on. Isn't it like a thing where it's like people think it does nothing, but technically it houses some bacteria, but then also that bacteria doesn't need the appendix necessarily to survive. It would also survive fine elsewhere in the gut or something. But it almost seems like the main reason for the main thing an appendix does is just like get appendicitis, and which, you know, suboptimal I would say when it comes to, well, anything. And getting you having to get like appendix surgery. I don't know why, I've just had like a flashback of reading a book. For some reason, I think it's Roald Dahl's autobiography, whatever that's called, I don't remember off the top of my head, where he's talking about like his sister having appendicitis and having to get operated on like the dining room table or something crazy like that. Did I make this up? Is this a fever dream? I don't know if this is a fever dream. Hold on. Roald Dahl autobiography. It was a good book from Roald Dahl, good author. Boy Going Solo. Boy Tales of a Childhood, that's it. Boy Tales of a Childhood Appendix. His 7-year-old sister died from complications of appendicitis. Oh. Right, well, okay. I don't remember the sister dying, so, but I guess it was a big enough story, well, part of his life that, like, it stuck with me. So even more just sort of like we don't need appendixes, do we? There's actually a lot from this book I randomly remember. We should talk about Roald Dahl someday. I read a lot of his books growing up. Anyway, sorry. But why do we have such like random designs of a human body? I suppose I accidentally clicked the wrong one. Sorry, I'm also playing some shiny colours on the side. There's another sort of gacha thing coming out of it. They released a new sort of like banner system called the Parallel Collection, and then like 1 month ago or 2 months ago, the group the team I use it was one of the first ones to get it, and I was like, okay, you know, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, this character hasn't had like a strong card like ever, so it's nice to get one. And this is the second ever banner of this limited edition type of banner, and for whatever reason, this group only has 3 members, and the group got the banner again. For some unfathomable reason. There's like 8 groups in this game, so there's 6 available, but for some reason it was the same group again, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have enough resources currently, so I need to like farm some resources to actually try and put on this banner. It'll be ridiculous, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, nonetheless, just like the trachea and the esophagus, 2 very important tubes of the human body. One, of course, to breathe, and if it gets blocked, you asphyxiate, and 1 to consume food, and if you can't consume food, then you have no energy, and slowly you will starve to death. These are both like really important parts of the human body, and it is mind-boggling that the only thing, but like both the things you need like enter the same way and pass the same sort of like entrance way, and there's nothing really stopping you from not nothing, but like it's just like such a flimsy, I suppose, stopping possibility, right? Like mechanic to stop things. Like I don't even know what's it called. Like, but wait, isn't it not? It's not even like a flat thing which goes back and forth, isn't it? Or maybe I'm thinking of a voice box or something. Isn't it just like one will close and the other will open, and they just try not to close and open at the same time? Hold on. Esophagus and trachea lid. I don't really know how to describe it. Esophagus. Pharynx. No, hold on. What's it called? A thing which like uvula, pharynx, epiglottis. what's it? Epiglottis? Is that it? Epiglottis. It's a flap of tissue that sits beneath the tongue and back of the throat. Its main function is to close over the windpipe while you're eating food to prevent it from entering the airway. Is that really? But this is the thing. It's like, is that really the best way to like defend against things entering the trachea? Because I gotta say, maybe my epiglottis is balked. You know, the amount of saliva that randomly enters there and I start having a coughing fit is crazy. And the worst part of having a coughing fit, I mean, one, I have like a chronic sort of cough in the first place, but two, people just suddenly think like, oh, you're like choking on something. It's like, no, I really am. I'm really not. Just my body decided to do the stupidest thing imaginable. Okay, maybe not stupidest thing imaginable. My body was deciding, you know what, let's not function, I suppose, as a proper epiglottis. I just can't help but think, you know, if you could redesign the body, the human body from the ground up, I'm sure you would put different things in here, but I can't the thing that I think boggles my mind about it is because, like, think about it, like, saliva going down the trachea is a choking hazard, certainly. It's like an inherent choking hazard built into the human body. And certainly, you know, there's a risk that, you know, young offspring, way back in the, like, like the ancestors of humans called, I can't remember what that term's called. The Neolithic era? Wait, what's the name of it? That's not. You know what I mean, okay? The cavemen or whatever, caveman babies, presumably they're at risk of choking, you know, from the saliva entering the trachea and that sort of thing. You would have thought there'd be some sort of, like, environmental pressure to evolve a more surefire way to stop food from entering the trachea, or any sort of blockage entering the trachea. It's such an important thing, you know, because it's literally the only tube which can access your lungs, where you breathe and, you know, do this diffusion and exchange of air to actually get oxygen into your bloodstream. It's literally the last, like, point of defense, isn't it? And it's just like a flap of skin which stops it. It's crazy, isn't it? Omega epiglottis. I don't even know what this means. Looking at voice boxes and a trachea is such a strange thing. Like, I remember watching, like, in biology, like, this sort of, the diagram of the epiglottis and, like, a voice box and how it, like, opens and closes at different, like, levels depending on, like, what sort of sound you're making. Right? It feels so strange looking at it. It kind of looks like an eye or something. It looks like an alien creature. Anyway, long and short of it, why is that epiglottis the only thing we have to stop it? Like, what? Why instead? Why do we not have, like, two mouths or something? Or why do we not exclusively, like, breathe through our nose or something like that? So then the nose can just be for the trachea, and then the mouth can just be for the esophagus, you know? But you wouldn't need, like, epiglottis or anything like that. I don't know, I don't get it. The crazy thing is, now I think about it, like, almost all animals are like that as well. So presumably there must be some, like, way back, some ancestry thing of it that had this evolutionary purpose. Do you think I can Google this? Why evolution, trachea and esophagus right next to each other? It's because of natural selection and evolution. Why? Why did evolution leave the human esophagus and trachea right next to it? It seems like choking death should have acted as a pretty significant evolutionary pressure to separate the two tubes. Exactly, random person who commented this. Evolution doesn't do perfection, it does good enough. I know, but, like, surely this is not good enough, right? It's good enough to allow another... Is this just a theory? You work as a web development. You're not like an environmental scientist, an evolutionary scientist, so... The lungs separate from the digestive tract in the embryo stage of development. To separate the two... Okay, so it's basically because of how the embryo ends up developing. And because of... I guess because we all evolved from fish, and fish... That's how it works for fish, right? What makes more sense for fish, because they don't inhale water, I suppose, isn't it? It's something about, like, them swallowing water and, like, filtering out oxygen or something. Isn't that how fish work? Or maybe I made it up. Something to do with the gills, I don't remember. Anyway, this comment's too long. Can I have something shorter? What was the evolutionary biological benefit of esophagus and trachea being right next to each other? It doesn't have an evolutionary benefit. It just has to not be an evolutionary detriment. I didn't realise so many people like asked this, to be honest. Lungs develop from esophageal pockets, which is crossed out gills, and the upper digestive tract right behind your gills. So it's basically just sort of like a holdover from when we evolved from our ancestors, is just how it worked for us, because that's how it made sense of them. And it just wasn't quite bad enough to actually be in enough pressure for us to evolve differently for it. That is very fascinating, I suppose, in its own right. I guess so. And I guess that makes sense. It's still annoying, to be perfectly honest, but, you know, at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? You're going to, like, rewrite the entire human genome to, I don't know, do that. I mean, that's a very morally questionable thing, I think, with sort of, like, genetical biology, without questioning the ambiguity of the morals and stuff like that. But still, it's like I don't know. I didn't really have, like, a grand point here or anything. It's just something I was randomly thinking about. Just like the epiglottis. Why don't we have like a double epiglottis or something? I don't know. I mean, I guess we kind of do. I don't even know what a double one would do to help. I mean, really, at the end of the day, maybe it's just, it might just be my epiglottis is like smaller or something than the average person's or something, or is like at a weirder angle in a natural resting state. So most normal people don't have to deal with this. Or maybe I just produce more saliva than the average person, and it, you know, upsets this entire balance of what things should be like. In which case, you know, fair enough. That's just, you know, the random mutations of body development. Strange. Okay, let's make a thumbnail art as well. I suppose while we're at it, because we certainly need to. So let's see, 1519. I guess we'll do a sort of like reddish colour. You can't see what I'm doing, but you'll see the fruits of a labour. And by labour, I mean literally no labour whatsoever. It's like the easiest thing in the world to make these thumbnail arts. I'm gonna be like, why evolution? I hope people have noticed that I've been doing like different handwritings. In each thumbnail art. Not really for any reason, just sort of for funsies. This one's a really messy one. I don't even know if I can read it properly. Very angular. And I guess we just have like 2 lines here for the esophagus and the trachea. Fascinating thing. How many other things in the human body are evolved to be good enough? To basically, I just tried to upload the video I'm literally recording right now. Doesn't make any sense. I wonder how many other things basically in the human body are just like, hey, this just needed to be good enough. And it is literally just good enough. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. But again, I'm not really an evolutionary... 1, not an evolutionary biologist. And 2, also... Well, there's not really a 2. Just, I'm not an evolutionary biologist or really studied much in the way of evolution. So who can say? Who knows? Life is a mystery. Or, you know, what was it? All great quote? The past... No. The future is a mystery, the past is history. The present is... And... The now is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode off here. I've lost the plot. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye bye for now.